Welcome, coin lovers. Today, I want to tell you a story about one of the most fascinating U.S. coins ever made, the 1943 Lincoln steel penny. It's not just any penny, it's a piece of history, a symbol of inventive change, and for some folks, a ticket to astonishing finds. Let's start from the beginning. Back in 1943, World War II was in full swing, and copper was desperately needed for ammunition, radios, and vital machinery. The U.S. Mint still needed to make pennies, but they couldn't afford to use copper. So they made a bold choice, switched to steel, coated with zinc, for that year only. That's why these pennies look silvery today instead of the usual warm copper tone. Over 1 billion steel pennies were made across 3 mints, Philadelphia with about 684 million, Denver with around 218 million, and San Francisco near 192 million. Despite being made in massive numbers, these coins carry a special story: war, metal change, and that one, just for 1 year, twist. Now, what do these steel pennies look and feel like? They're light, just 2.702 grams, and magnetic, thanks to the steel core. They've got Lincoln's familiar face on the front, and the reverse shows the classic wheat stalks design, all by Victor D. Brenner, which had been in use since 1909, but they rust quickly, especially around the edges where the zinc coating wears off. In fact, they were often mistaken for dimes in vending machines, a real headache for people at the time. So, what are these steel pennies worth? Most are common and not too valuable. A circulated coin might sit at just 10 cents to 25 cents, while an uncirculated one ranges from a few dollars up to maybe $5, but when you find one in pristine condition, think MS-67 or MS-68, they become rare and valuable. A high-quality fine coin can fetch up to $3,100 for MS-68, and in rare MS-68 plus grades, some have sold for as high as $35,000. To give an example, the highest known sale for a regular steel penny was $33,600. A flawless MS-68 plus from the Philadelphia Mint. That's impressive on its own, but believe me, it gets much more exciting when you learn about the error coins, those rare, unplanned mistakes that collectors go crazy for. Picture this: leftover bronze planchets from 1942 accidentally got used in 1943. Instead of the silvery steel, a few pennies came out in the traditional copper color. These off-metal, bronze cents are legendary. Only a few dozen are known to exist across all mints, and they can sell for hundreds of thousands, sometimes even more than $1 million. One Denver bronze cent sold privately for $1.7 million, and others have brought in big sums at auctions. San Francisco minted some too. Only 6 verified examples of the 1943 bronze penny are known. One graded MS-63 brown sold for $1 million back in 2012, part of a famous collection. These coins are among the most sought-after error coins ever made. That off-metal bronze error isn't the only mistake you might find. There are others. Think of the double mintmark errors. Some Denver coins ended up with a faint D punched, and then a second D stamped beside it, called D/D or repunched mintmark errors. One MS-67 D/D penny sold for over $21,000. San Francisco had S/S errors too, though they're less publicized, still valuable for sure. There are also double die errors, where letters, the date, or parts of the design appear doubled, thanks to a mistake in die preparation. These coins might fetch around $6,000 to $10,000 when in top condition. One MS-66 DDO coin went for nearly $6,000. Then there are wrong planchet errors, coins struck on the wrong metal disc entirely. There are stories of 1943 pennies struck on brass planchets made from shell casings, on dime planchets, even on Curacao 25-cent planchets. A coin struck on a brass planchet once sold for $164,500, one on a silver dime planchet for $14,100. In even stranger cases, a 1943 penny was overstruck on a Cuban centavo coin and brought $38,200. Speaking of rare years, there were even some 1944 steel cents mistakes made when leftover steel planchets were struck the next year. One San Francisco 1944 steel cent sold for $373,750 in 2008, holding the record for a long time until the bronze 1943 penny eclipsed it. In simpler terms, most 1943 steel pennies are everyday coins, cheap and cool, magnetic and historical. But in a rare few, mistakes by the mint turned them into treasures. Whether it's the bronze error or a weird planchet, collectors pay top dollar for the story these coins carry. If you come across a 1943 penny, here's how to check if it might be special. First, use a magnet. Steel pennies stick, bronze ones don't. Next, weigh it. If you can, steel ones weigh about 2.702 g, bronze ones about 3.11 g. Then use a magnifier to check the mint mark and letters. Look for doubling or misplaced marks. If anything seems unusual, consider getting the coin certified by a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC. That can push up its credibility and value. One quick thought before I close: these coins aren't just valuable because of metals, they tell stories. They're wartime snapshots. Imagine someone at the Fed thinking, "Steal this year." Then, decades later, someone holds a coin worth thousands, maybe millions, because of a tiny miscued piece of metal. So, whether you're casually looking at coins or cleaning out a jar at home, keep an eye on that 1943 penny. It might just spark you into numismatic legend, not as official historian talk, but as someone holding history and a bit of luck in their hand.